Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Speedrun Minecraft, the podcast where I bring on Minecraft speedrunners and they teach you how to speedrun. Today is April 23rd. It is episode 7, and I'm joined by Priffin.
Hello.
What's up? So, a couple of the past guests have requested your presence. Specifically, Dugail last time, he said he wanted to have you on because you're a known Walter hater. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I guess that's aged quite poorly because I'm reformed now. I'm a big Walter fan,
Oh wow.
you know. I
Oh,
realised
there
there's
you
more
go.
to life than hating Walter, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you've redeemed yourself in the eyes of Dugail.
I hope so. I hope he's forgiven me.
New season of Ranked just started, right? How's that been going for you?
I have not played it at all. I've not been playing much ranked lately.
Fair enough.
Um,
I mean, I don't know. You are the current playoffs champion, so I don't know, I just
it's true.
figured.
I did get I think I got 4th last season in like the face point leaderboard, which is
Nice.
pretty cool. It's like I don't know.
So you're auto qualified for next playoffs.
Yeah.
That's hype. So you haven't been doing much ranked. Have you just been doing any percent?
Yeah, I started this thing like a couple of weeks ago where I try and enter 50 nethers every day and see how much I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been going pretty well. Since like before that, I was kind of struggling with RSG motivation. Like it's hard to just, play the game. But I do like really want to PB and get good pace. So
Mm-hmm.
like this has been a nice way of, you know, getting
Yeah.
myself to play a little bit more.
How many hours is that on average?
Um, It really depends. Like some days it's like 8 hours, or if I get like unlucky or I'm not playing too well, it can go up to like 10 hours.
Jeez.
So like I
Um,
do try and like play out good answers only.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this whole enters thing has been really catching on because I see like a lot
Yeah.
of people doing it.
Yeah, they like do like a race where they see you can get to 50 enters the fastest. It's pretty cool. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to see so many people playing RSG again.
Yeah, it's really funny how RSG is like boring enough to the point where we have to like trick our brains
Yeah.
with stuff like this. I mean, it's just like kind of brutal though because, 95% of your time is just spent on the wall and resetting seats.
Yeah, that's true, but there's still like, it's still satisfying to like put in that effort, even if it is like meaningless. Um, Yeah, it's like still fun, and you can still like see how you improve. Like today, my average was like 5 seconds faster than it was yesterday, and stuff like
Nice.
that. It's like even when you're just resetting, you can still like keep track of your resetting and improve with that. You don't just need to like where you keep throwing stuff at the wall until it sticks. You can improve whilst you're doing that.
hmm Would you say that's kind of your overall mindset to speedrunning in a sense?
Yeah, I think I've always liked playing the game a lot and like trying to like always trying to improve is like what keeps me motivated because I could just keep playing and stay at the same level, but getting better is really what feels good about it.
hmm I feel like that's the most brutal thing about this game because, it's so skill based and yet also so luck based, Like you could be better than someone, but they could just have a faster PB than you. So I guess you're saying that you find the enjoyment in just, focusing on your own improvement over like a specific goal time.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and like ranked is good for that as well because it's really easy to see your improvement in ranked as well. Like quite easy than it is in RSG because you can just go months and months without PBing and it's
Hmm.
just not your fault at all. But ranked is like nice because like you can see your improvement and you can see why you're losing games and whatnot.
That makes sense. Do you want to dive a little bit more into ranked?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Sure. Were you a ranked enjoyer immediately when it first came out? Were you playing in like the closed beta?
I was not in the closed beta, but I think when it was in closed beta, I was like kind of a doubter. I was like, this is not going to catch on at all. There's gonna be like some gimmick that lasts a week, and then people are gonna get bored and go back to RSG. But then when it did come into open beta, I did play on the first day, and I ended up doing like way better than I expected to. Um, I think I was like near the top of the leaderboard like all day. And that's like really what made me think that like this is fun. I can be good at this.
Hmm.
And I did get kind of hooked from that point. And like every season since then, I've had hundreds of games, like nearly 4 digits in every season.
It's
It's
crazy.
so addicting. Yeah.
Do you think that if you weren't the best at it immediately, that you would have just like brushed it off and not wanted to play?
Uh, it's hard to say. I mean, I'd hope that I would still have like the same desire to like keep getting better and try and climb the leaderboard. Because I don't know, it was because I definitely wasn't the best. I was still like
Hmm.
losing to Feinberg every game and stuff like that. So like I did want to like try and end up beating the better opponents more often. So I think even if I wasn't amazing to begin with, I'd still want to improve.
That's fair. I think part of the reason I'm asking is because I would say the vast majority of people listening to this probably are not like super top runners, you know? Maybe they have like a 12-minute RSGPB or like a 15-minute RSGPB. So just for those kind of people, I mean, you already said like focus on like your own improvement, but what kind of motivation would you have to give to the average player?
Well, ranked is just so much fun. Like you're playing out so many seeds, and it's not just resetting, and it's just a great way to, play the game like the entire game, and focus on more parts of the run than that you would otherwise. I think try and get better at stuff that's later in the run, like end games and practicing zero, and like learning zero if you don't know it, because learning that stuff and then doing it in ranked games feels like really good because you don't get to do that in RSG ever. So like ranked is a good way to like practice that. And I think that's like a good motivation that I've had for ranked at some points is to just like I learned something new and then I want to apply it and like ranked is the perfect place for that.
Hmm. How did you feel about winning the playoffs? Like, I don't know, did you expect it at all?
Uh it did feel a little surreal. Um I'd like never considered myself to be amazing. I still don't think I am. I think it mostly just came down to how well we everybody was playing like on the day and not just like skill overall. And I think when I had to play, I was playing well and ended up playing better. Uh, and I think I got lucky in some aspects. I think beating Dugal was pretty lucky. Uh, so I like after beating Dugal, that's when I thought I have a good chance at winning this. Because after that, it was Ral and Hacking Noises who are both like really really good, but like so is Dugal. But after beating Dugal did give me a lot of confidence, knowing that like I was like capable of winning, and it also helped that Hack had to play at 4 a.m., which
Yeah.
was very hard for him. Uh, Winning like it was definitely felt very good. It made me feel like I'd achieved something in MCSR, which was like, everybody like wants to achieve something really big and like world record and winning
Hmm.
playoffs is like the closest you can get to that.
Yeah.
Like I never thought I would get this far. It kind of came out of nowhere how quickly I improved.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, probably for some people, winning playoffs would be even more impressive than getting world record, you know?
Yeah, I see that, but I don't know. I still see world record as a more impressive accomplishment. You
Hmm.
just have to like dedicate hours and hours and hours to RSG, and like that in and of itself is like super challenging.
Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of very different, right? Ranked and any percent RSG. Because I don't know, ranked is like, I guess ranked is kind of an ideal version of RSG. Like you're constantly playing good seeds and improving. But RSG is kind of just like, you know, your mindset over hundreds, thousands of hours, like throwing yourself at the wall every day and hoping something will come out of it.
Yeah, definitely. It is interesting that Big Isle is so good at ranked and he's so good at RSG too. It's like definitely, you know, it is there is a lot of overlap between them, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I interviewed Dugile maybe about a week and a half ago, and he felt like you guys specifically have very different play styles. I don't know. How do you feel about your own play style?
Uh, I guess like I've always considered myself a really like technical runner.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever there's new strats that come out, like learn them immediately, and like I come up with stuff on my own as well that I want to improve. I don't. I think very like how do I explain this? Like if I'm in a ranked game, like I'll try and think about like what are the like not doing like the thing that's probably considered most optimal, but like what is going to give me the most opportunities to win this game, which like it sounds like they should be the same thing, but like maybe some people might want to play for every single gold block in treasure, or I'll just get like all of them because that just gives me like an opportunity to like open up 20 seconds and really easily and stuff like that. So like making like decisions that aren't like not consistent decisions, like not things that are going to not work out every time, but they do open up opportunities for you to like take a lead, if that makes sense.
No, that's very interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone else talk about it like that.
Like I try and think of it like how am I going to win this game? What is my win condition? Is it like
Mm-hmm.
playing for zero when the other person doesn't have it or something like that?
Do you ever just think about like, this is something Hacks kind of touched about. He's like, you know, sometimes I'll just like play the seed like really fast and play it perfectly, and that's how I'll win. Do you think more like, how am I gonna create like maybe I know this one tech that the other player doesn't, and I'll win off of that? Is that more of your mindset?
Yeah, I think it is because I don't think I'm like confident enough in myself to play perfectly every time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I like I will lose to mechanics sometimes, or I don't know. I think I just prefer winning because I made a different decision.
Yeah. Because I'm legally obligated to mention AA. Um, I kind of see myself in like a storm position there where I don't know, I just know a lot. Like my AA playstyle is very different from the majority of people. I'll just do like small tech things that are really random or different. But that's where I guess I pride myself in my gameplay.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
I think Dugile specifically, he mentioned an example where maybe it was mid-season showdown where you went for like the boat thing with Ground Zero, where you're like in the boat but you're not really in the boat. And Dugile was like, yeah, Priffin just like forced out this new tech even if it wasn't like that much better.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was in weeklies. It was like
Oh, okay.
20 minutes before the tournament started. I looked in the end fight Discord and I saw Khan Plays posted this new Ground Zero setup, and I learned it like 20 minutes before the tournament, and then did it in the tournament,
That's really
and then it
funny.
ended up being it ended up being not allowed, but it was fun for the day that I was able to use it.
Part of my enjoyment with tech is also just like some of the stuff is like really cool, you know, and just like doing it in a tournament and like showing people who've maybe never seen it before and they look at it and they're like, what? That's like, I don't know. I don't know if you feel that way.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like in the mid-season tourney, I got to do like a cool side setup. It was like a backup setup because I did a bad pearl onto
Yeah.
97, but I learned this side setup and it was cool that I was able to do that. And like I think Zero is like really fun because there's so much to learn. There's so many like niche setups that like
Mhm.
you can be impressive when you do them.
Definitely. Do you feel like sometimes the tech is like overwhelming? So, example, a runner like Feinberg who does a lot of outdated things, but he's so consistent at them that you know, a lot of it just works for him. Do you sometimes like learn new tech and you like maybe force it a little too hard and it ends up like you're not super great at it yet and it'll lose you time?
Uh, I mean, I guess like the only thing I think of is like I'll learn a new zero setup and then I'll be bad at it and then I'll take runs to it or I'll lose rank games to it,
Hmm.
I guess.
Fair.
But I can't really, I don't know. I try and practice stuff a lot before I do it in runs,
Yeah.
so I try not to lose time when I learn something new. I mean, I guess another example I can think of is I learned a TNT route for housing for when you don't have an iron pickaxe.
Uh-huh.
And I think I was in that situation like 3 times, and I just kept dying to piglins because I hadn't quite figured it out yet before I was able to get it done consistently.
Fair. Well, that's a very important point that like when you are learning something new, you do have to like thoroughly practice it and test it before implementing it into your runs or ranked or whatever. I think some people just like learn stuff and when they say learn, they like watch one video and then they'll just try it out in a run.
Yeah, yeah. I think practicing something and like sleeping is so overpowered. You can learn something one day and then sleep, and then the next day you're so much better at it. That's like usually what I do.
Hmm, makes sense. But aside from just all the tech stuff, like you're still super good mechanically. So when did you start like trying to get the crafting practice map world record, I guess?
Uh, well, I guess when I switched back to 116 because I was playing 115 for a bit,
Hmm.
I switched to 116 again, and I started using Vietnamese for crafting, where you just search for a symbol and it brings up all the tools and you craft everything on the island. And um, eventually I got bored of that because I didn't really like it. It felt like super inconsistent. Like sometimes your eyes would just struggle to find the thing you're looking for and it would take you longer than it should. And so I ended up stopping using Vietnamese and I went back to English. And then I stopped using book crafting and tried to get better at drug crafting. And like people make fun of the crafting map sometimes because it is not that realistic. You don't craft
Yeah.
gold armor in ones, but it did it clearly helped me so much because I just played that so much, and uh, it was my friend Jade who grinded that map a lot, and I was trying to beat her time on it. Um, and then this was like still the first crafting map before the new version came out. And then when the new version did come out, it was just like it was so much more fun than the old version because it was using like actual things that we craft and not like a bowls and a fishing rod.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just I don't know. It was fun to grind. Anything where you can like see your PB decrease as you put in more time is obviously going to be fun. And like I guess I wasn't really going for any world record initially because I was like the only person playing it. It was just I was trying to get a sub 20 was the thing I was trying to do, and
Okay.
that took me so long. But I got that, and then I just kept playing it, but not as like religiously, just trying to warm up,
Yeah.
and then occasionally I'll do better than I did before, and you know,
Makes sense. And now you have sub 15, right?
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's like I'll I'll do the same thing every time, but then make one less mistake, and I beat it by 0.6 seconds. It's like
Yeah.
it's never a small decrease.
Yeah, you mentioned 1.15 briefly. So, did you kind of like start out speedrunning 1.15?
Um, I did start with 116.
Okay.
I played 116 for like quite a long time, but then I got a PB that I was like happy with. I thought,
Hmm.
it was a sub 13, I think. I was like, okay, I'm happy with this. I don't see myself beating this anytime soon. Because I think it was quite a big PB jump. It was from like 14 minutes to like a 12 a day or something. Uh, and so I switched to 115 and I played that for quite a while, like 10 months maybe. That's just an estimate. I don't know how long it was exactly,
Hmm.
but uh, this was when like it was before the ISGAR world record.
Okay.
So like world record was very achievable, and I was getting on lots of pace, and I felt really motivated to try and get a good time. And then ironically, I never really did. Like I think I got like a 17-minute time and then quit. But I did get a lot of pace, I think I got a low 13 pod to him when that would have been end to world record,
Hmm.
and I felt pretty happy about that. And I think I went back to 116 for a bit, and I PB'd really quickly, and that like got me motivated into 116 again.
Makes sense. Um, so I've been doing a bit recently where we go through the guests' YouTube videos, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm starting from oldest, and the one that stands out immediately is 1.15 trios world record, but we're depressed.
Yeah, that's like I think this is when I was basically back to 116, but I was still playing 115 with my friends, and we were trying to get world record with chopping strats because the world record was terrible, and you could just beat it by chopping wood whilst one person went to the nether. Uh, and we got this one, and it was like a really good seed. It was well, no, it kind of wasn't. It wasn't that great, but it was like a temple. It was a classic seed with like a desert temple and 3 diamonds. So it was definitely like good enough for world record because we were trying to get like a sub 17 or something. It's like really not that hard, and we got this like above average seed, and I think we all just played it so bad. We all made so many mistakes that lost us like over a minute, and yeah, we still got world record on it, but it could have been so much faster.
It's funny. Um, do you think you're gonna return to 1.15 anytime soon? I mean, you still have the clay cord cape on you.
Yeah. Uh, I play 115 occasionally, but like
Fair.
these days when I play 115, I just play classic because that's what I
Hmm.
find most fun.
Makes
And
sense.
I never really like I played before Insomniac was really a thing.
Yeah.
Like Corpse World Record obviously, but people were still doing double day, and that's kind of what I was into. And then I never really got into Insomniac because I thought the resetting for it was annoying. Uh, and now every time I go back to 115, I just play classic because that's what I have the most fun doing.
Hmm. Sounds like I did like 2 years ago. Um, that's funny. Okay. Next video. I think this is a video a lot of people know you from, which is the best seed ever rolled, 519 blind PV, 726 portal room.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a clickbaity title. I don't think it actually is the best seed ever rolled. But it was a pretty crazy seed. It was definitely a seed I was not prepared for. I was not very good when I rolled this seed. Uh, it was like one of the best overwords you could ask for. It was like a gold axe for importer with a BT one chunk away. And I think even after messing up the pod a little bit, I entered it like a 110. And you just spawn next to a housing, and the spawner is like 1 pile away. And since it's a ruined portal
Crazy.
enter, it's like amazing for home portal too. And there's Tony Abbey up top, which I opted not to get because I wasn't. I was nervous. I wasn't really thinking. I think I would have checked the chests in hindsight because it was really easy to.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, 519 home portal was it? That was like my blind PB for over a year, I think. Like, and even with like suboptimal rates, I still got that. It's like best pace I've ever gotten up until that point, and a long time after that point as well. But I guess that did like kind of put me on the map a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people watched that, and I don't know, getting a 519 blind was cool.
Mhm.
Probably one of like the first impressive-ish things I did.
Do you look back at that run now and be like, wow, if I just played better, I could have gotten an insane time, or do you just move on?
No, I don't. I don't. I've moved on. Like I've bought so many good seeds. That's just one of the many at this point.
Makes sense. This is really random, but a lot of your like auto-generated thumbnails are you like critting a blaze. It's really
Yeah, there's so many
funny.
things that the thumbnail thing picks up on. I think mining the chalice is another common one.
Yeah, and like eye throws.
Yeah.
But you don't have a lot of eye throw thumbnails. Maybe it's because of like your your setup with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like have the same like macro that Dugal does.
Yeah. Okay. You just titled Poro Sad.
Uh,
I think this is Flu's Discord icon.
yeah, yeah. That was that was my first sub 10 trick. It would have been like a 917 if I hit a 2x2 anchor 1 cycle, and
Wow.
uh, I think it would have been PB by like 2 minutes, and it would have been my PB up until I got my 803 a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple months ago. It's a lot longer than that now. It's like October. But that would have been my PB for so long if I hadn't choked. And back when a sub 10 was still impressive.
At the time, did that get to you at all?
I don't know. I've always had like the view on like choking the 1 cycle and stuff. Like, but I didn't finish, but I got there. I did most of the run correctly. So like even if I didn't get a PB from it, at least I like accomplished something. And like, I'm
Fair.
capable of that at least. So I don't know.
It's a good way of looking at it. And what's with the thumbnail?
I don't know. I just talked about it in the Discord, and Flu's like, "Can I be in the thumbnail?" I'm like, sure, okay.
It's really funny. Um. Okay. What's another one? What is 949 Dragon Kill?
Oh, that's another sub 10 trick.
Did you like die
I
during
just
zero?
it was during 1 cycle. I was like
Okay.
on half a heart, and I just sent the explosion, hoping I
Yeah.
wouldn't take a heart, but I did.
I think I might have seen this video, but I'm not sure. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I think in that run I dug into treasure, and there's just an ancient debris blocking my way, like in the treasure marsh pit.
That's funny. I mean, again, do you look back on these runs like I don't know, like as character development? Like are they fun to look back at all?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have said that I went like it took me longer than it should have to get my first sub 10.
Hmm.
Like I had so much pace up until that point. I think I took like a 2 sub 10s and maybe a sub 9, I think, before I got my first sub 10, which ended up being like a 956 or something. So yeah, it was like all these ones like yeah, definitely I'm glad I got them at least.
Yeah.
Like taking a sub 10 is better than just never getting pace ever. So it
Hmm.
did feel motivating to be like, I can do this.
Yeah, and then a few more videos, 952, and then right after it, 929.
Yeah, that was cool. It was like I got my first sub 10 and it was just a normal generic run. Well,
Yeah.
it was kind of a crazy seed. Like the blaze spawner is inside the bridge, and I did task overlap. I think it was double single two, and I looted one of the chests and just got all of my obsidian from trades. And then it was like a 10 LB end game, and then like an insta pad. It's such a weird one. But then the day after that, I beat it in a BTRL that I ended up getting first place in, and that's a lot more standard run. It's a 20 RB end game and like a okay-ish 4
Hmm. I really love these thumbnails. They're just
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
definitely
going
the meta
on.
back then.
Yeah, I remember when people were doing that. This is a really funny sequence of videos. Sub 8 Stronghold played well. Sub 8 Stronghold not played well. Sub 8 Stronghold played decent.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory.
It's funny how they're all in a row. Um, wow. Okay, and then more present day. 803 PV. I think I included some footage of this run in an earlier episode. So,
Yeah, it was in silvers, right?
yeah, because he was talking about the boat thing in the portal.
Yeah, and like the stable part too, if I remember.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's a cool one.
it's a cool run.
It's still the fastest one with stables, I think.
It's pretty sick. Um, what I remember about this run is just like it took you so long to get your last rod, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't feel too weird about it. It's just I played the game. It's a BTRL too, if you want extra
Okay,
context.
I see.
So, uh, I don't know. I think it makes sense to kill the blazes when they're right there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone would just like leave there, but it just kind of
Yeah.
sucks what happened. But I mean, I guess what you've been talking about, like if you play your best, if you play it well, then like I don't know, what can you do about that? It's not your fault.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And even despite that, I think he was still just barely in world record pace sententer, which is
Hmm.
like as much as I can ask for.
Yeah.
It definitely felt really good as well, getting that PB
Yeah,
after
of
so long
course.
of like having like a mediocre PB.
Okay. And then now, present day, 4 days ago, sub 13 classic choke. I've seen this video in my recommended, but I haven't watched it yet.
Uh, well, this has kind of been my bit lately. I've just been playing so many classic ones. Uh, this one was really interesting. It was like a ruin portal overworld into like it's just not even that great of a nether. There's a there's like a ruin portal like at lava level which I baited down to, and I think I had like 4 gold blocks on both ruin portals, and then I got like 6 obsidian from trades and like barely enough pearls. I think I blinded on 10 pearls because I got 4 obsidian in a 4 chest. So kind
Right.
of kind of kind of a crazy one. And then it ended up being like 900 blocks, I think. And then it was a twice for the first time ever for me. Uh, uh, and then I took the one cycle because one cycling is impossible. So I had a sub 10 classic trick too, like probably like
Hmm.
a month or two ago now, where I also tricked the 4 bed one cycle. So I'm not a great track record.
Is that just nerves?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess so. Uh,
Really unfortunate because we've been doing all this talk about like your tech and stuff, and you're messing up these month cycles.
yeah. I guess on the sub 10 one, you've got to cut me a little slack because it was like a really fast patch and like also really crazy pace as well.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. What are some resources you'd recommend to people trying to improve?
Uh, well, I think the first thing you should be doing is watching other people play. It's like that's how I got good and how so many other people got good is just by watching top runners and seeing how their gameplay is different to yours and like, you know,
Hmm.
learning a lot from them. I think when I started out, I was definitely watching a lot more than I was playing the game myself.
Hmm.
And I think it ended up working out well. But other than that, I think join a lot of Discords and read through them because people do say interesting stuff. And if you are in like the VIP server, I'm sure that's probably been mentioned before. Like you might see people asking the same questions that you want to know,
Hmm.
or you can ask your own questions too. I think it's pretty helpful.
Makes sense.
I think if you join any Discord server, people will be happy to help you and answer any questions.
Hmm. It's funny. I'm just thinking about like the contrast between I don't know, like helpful Discord servers and like toxic MCSR chats. Maybe some of the bigger streamers will be like, I need help, and you'll just get banned.
Yeah, I think there was like more appropriate places to ask for help. There was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, if you don't have any more topics, I have 4 standard questions I've been asking everyone if you want to get to those.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Cool. Okay. So number one, with all the tech we've been talking about, what is one small time save, or maybe two, that you think people should be doing?
Um, I guess this is just like a routing difference, but when the it's right triple bridge and it's exposed, it is so much faster to jump around the backside of the bastion rather than like do the standard route. And I see barely anybody doing that. And I think that's really good. And I guess this is something like I've talked to Sichi about, but doing fast portal early is like the best time saves you can do because you can get a pearl hang and you can learn information and plan out your route. and there's so many situations where it's just so much more beneficial to do that. Like I had a run the other day where I was on a fortress and I got a pack of 4 strays, and I think I got like 1 or 2 rods from them, and I was still on the bad side, but it just made sense to do fast portal there, since that was the only part of the fortress that was in the ring, and I think it ended up being like 600 blocks from where I built my fast portal, and then the after that I hung a pile and just went to the spawner, and the spawner was like completely outside of the ring, nowhere near any good cards, and I think just there's so many situations where you benefit so much from doing fast portal on low rod count.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I've heard Suchi talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Do you have any MCSR role models?
Mm, I guess when I was starting out, I watched Molly a lot. I think a lot of people will know me from that,
Yeah,
the Molly Gmod.
that I know you
Yeah.
from there.
But I watched Molly like 24/7, and he's like where I picked up most of the basic information. And then like once I started running on my own, like I think like I started watching Silver and Dougal a lot, and I learned a lot of stuff from them. I think there was like a period where people just called me a Silver clone because I copied everything Silver was doing, like tab crafting and whatever.
It's funny.
And I guess like more recently, it's just been like people like Meeby who like play RSG so much and are so motivated. They're like inspiring to me, sort of.
Hmm. Okay, 2 more questions. What are your favorite runs? And it can be your own or other people's.
I guess there's probably some recency bias here, but my sub 10 classic trick I think is just such a cool one. It's so unique, and it could have been so much faster if I played it differently. And you know, it's just sad that it's a trick, but I'm still so happy with it.
Hmm.
I guess that's like one of my own ones that's my favorite. But I guess for like other people, it's like I don't know. Anyone that's got like a good reaction at the end, I think is cool. Like like if you know Chaos's 1801 has like got an amazing reaction.
Yeah, you're mostly no mic, so do you ever wish that you could have your own reaction, or would you rather not have that?
Um I mean I don't react much to be honest. Uh
Fair.
like yeah. It's just I'm like relieved when I don't check the one cycle at this point. That's like the missed mission I feel.
Alright, Priffin, I have one more question before we wrap up, which is who else would you like to come on the podcast?
Okay, I have thought about this a lot, and I think Draconics would be super cool. Uh, like I've known Draconics since I started out, basically. Uh, he's always been super cool. I remember him being one of the first people to learn perfect travel, and even when calc was legalized, he was still doing that for so long. And he's just so cool in general. He does so much stuff in MCSR. Like he's a leaderboard mod. I think he'd
Hmm.
be like a great guest and have a lot of unique insights.
Alright, shout out Draconics. Well, thanks so much for coming on, and thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Hmm. Alright, see you everyone.